Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video from Mr. Anderson. I was sitting here thinking about what lesson can I do today in the midst of our coronavirus shutdown. And so I started thinking about some lessons that we may not get to cover, depending on if we get to go back to school or not. One of those lessons, the next lesson that was coming up before we got shut down, was about finding the measures of center and variability in our textbooks. We're in our school. We're currently using the iReady um, uh, textbooks for math. In the past, I've used Hope McDougall at previous schools, and this lesson was, called Finding Central Tendencies. And so it's all referring to the same thing. So simply, we're going to be given sets of numbers, and we're trying to find the middle number or trying to find the tendencies of what those numbers are, so we can get a better understanding of what's going on data-wise. All right, so some of this is review. Some of this is brand new, you've never heard of before, but we'll attack it. I'm not going to promise you that you're going to be experts at this after watching this video, but you should feel a little bit better about this topic once you are finished. So let's get going. So the first definition we want to talk about is mean. So this is a vocabulary word that you've had in the past, probably in 5th, 6th grade. It means average. All right. So if you think about how do we come up with your report card grades? Well, we take your test scores, we add them up, divide it by however many grades there are in the grade book, and there's your average. In our school district in Murray County, the way that they determine valedictorian at the time is they take their cumulative grade average over the course of from 9th grade through 12th grade, and they average that, and that's how they determine who the valedictorian and salutatorians are at the school. So mean is simply just average. Add the numbers up, divide by however many they are. There's 5 numbers, you add up the 5 numbers, divide by 5. Median is the middle. So if you think about what kids like to remember is there's a D in median, and there's a D or 2 Ds in middle. And so they say, hey, median, middle. But it's the middle numbers after you have put those numbers in order from least to greatest. That's your median number. So those 2 words are not new. So that's more review for you. The next word is a new word for you. It's called interquartile range. Interquartile range. And we're just going to call it IQR for short, because that's a lot easier to say, a lot easier to remember, IQR. But the definition of interquartile range is the difference between the upper and lower quartiles of the data. The difference between the upper and lower quartiles of the data. And I know you're probably thinking like, what's a quartile? Just think about quarters. We're going to break, when we're going to draw out this box plot and box whisker plot, and you'll see that they're kind of sectioned off into quarters. And so when we talk about the upper quartile and lower quartile, it'll make more sense when you see the picture. But you see that I've got underlined the word difference. Difference is a math word that we know that means the answer to a subtraction problem. So that just lets us know that we're going to subtract the upper quartile and the lower quartile. So the interquartile range, that range is the difference between the upper and lower. So if the lower quartile is 20 and the upper quartile is 30, you're going to subtract those 2 numbers. That's 10, so that's the range. So just, and I'll show you that as we work on on these next set of problems, right? So that's the only new definition. It's real fancy. Like I said, we'll show some examples, and hopefully interquartile range and upper quartile, lower quartiles, hopefully all of that will make sense to you. after we see these next couple of examples. So I have here some numbers. These are not just random numbers that I made up. This came from the Weather Channel app. Looked at the weather forecast for yesterday and for the rest of this week. And they have that the weather is going to be, it was 48 yesterday, which was Saturday, the 21st of March in 2020. And so today is 62. We're supposed to get up to 62, and these are the rest of the week. So we've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers in front of us. And so we're going to look for the mean, the median, the upper quartile, lower quartile, interquartile range. We're going to find all of that, and we'll try to chart out that data on the next slide. So the first thing we want to do, since we know we're going to try to find the mean and the median of this, the first thing we want to do, let's just go ahead and put these numbers in order from least to greatest. Let's just get that out of the way, because it'll make everything else that we do so much simpler once we do that. So let's just go ahead and put these numbers in order from least to greatest. And so the smallest number that I see on here is obviously this 48. It's, it's kind of the outlier out of all of this. So we got 48. The next smallest number I see is 60. And then I have 62. And then 66. And then it is, looks like, let's say 66. I probably should have marked these out. 74 looks like my next smallest number. And then 78 and 82. All right, so these are the numbers in order from least to greatest. That was the first thing I wanted to do. Now that I've got that out of the way, let's look for the mean. All right, so let me just write that word over here so we know what we're looking for, mean. All right, so the mean, again, is the average. So if you just add up all of these numbers, we can find the mean. So let's go ahead and add this. 48 plus 60 plus 62 plus 66 plus 74 plus 78 plus 82. So I got 470 when I did that. Let me just write that down so we can see that. So it's 470. And now we're going to we're going to divide that by 7 because there's 7 numbers. So 470 divided by 7, and that's going to tell us what our mean is. And our mean number is going to be, we're going to say about 67. It's about 67. It was actually some other numbers, but we're just going to round that to 67. All right. So again, we added all of these numbers divided by 7. Now, the next thing we're going to figure out is our median. Okay. Now, the median number, again, median means the middle number when they're in order from least to greatest, which we've already taken care of in the second row. So what number is in the middle? Well, the 48 will pair up with 82, 60 pairs up with 78, 62 pairs up with 74. So that means that our middle number is right here. There's our median. All right. So median number is 66. And so I'm going to write that down that our middle number is 66. See how easy that was. And we know that's the middle because we have 3 numbers to the left, 3 numbers to the right. So we've got the same amount of numbers on left and right of the median. So pretty easy. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do, we're going to find our lower quartile, our upper quartile, and I apparently do not know what quartile starts with. It starts with a Q, not a P. And then we're going to find our inner quartile range. Okay, so our lower quartile. So here's how you find the lower quartile. You remember we said we had 3 numbers to the left of our median? All right, these 3 numbers right here. So all the numbers that's to the left of your median. So in this case, we have 3 numbers. That's going to help us figure out what the lower quartile is going to be. All right, so our lower quartile is the middle number of this group of of these three numbers. Well, the middle number of this group is the 60. So that's going to be our lower quartile, 60. Upper quartile, you can do the exact same thing. All the numbers that are to the right that are bigger than our median will help us determine what the upper quartile is going to be. So we got 74, 78, 82. The middle number in this group is 78. Therefore, 78 will represent our upper quartile. Okay. Now, we said that the interquartile range is the difference from the upper and the lower quartile. And so our upper quartile is 78, our lower quartile is 60. So the difference between these two is 78 minus 60, that's 18. So our interquartile range is 18. Okay. Now, the way that we usually show this, we show this usually in a box and whisker plot. And so I'm gonna make this box of whisker real simple, just using the information that we have in front of us. The first number is going to be whatever your lowest number is, the smallest number. So in this particular case, we got 48. All right. Our biggest number is 82. 82 is over here. Okay. And I would recommend that you don't draw it the way that I did this. I'm just doing this just to kind of show you simply, but it would be better if you actually mark this off equally. So if you count it by fives or count it by tens, mark off equally. But I kind of just want to just give you a quick picture of what a box and whisker plot looks like. So we got our lowest number, our biggest number. So the next thing we want is our lower quartile. So our lower quartile is 60. And the reason why I said we want to make sure we mark this off, we want this data to be as accurate as possible. And so the way that I'm doing this is not going to be as accurate, but it'll kind of give you a visual of what we're talking about. So let's do it this way. We've got 48 and 82. Let's just find out what the center would be between that. So the center right here is going to be 65. All right. And so I know that about a little bit off center right here, that's where my 66 is going to be. Okay, so if my 66 is here, that means that my lower quartile is 60. We can reasonably assume that it'll be about right here. 78 is the upper quartile, 78. We can reasonably assume that 78 will probably be closer to this area. We draw this out more accurate, right? And so you can now make the rest of this box and whisker plot. So I'm gonna get my little line drawer out so that it's a little bit better. And so basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna draw a box from the lower quartile to your upper quartile. And then right in the middle, well, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be in the middle, but wherever your median is, you draw a line right through where the median is. And that kind of gives you a good idea of where everything is. And then you can draw your whiskers right here from your lower extreme to the lower quartile. And then from your upper quartile to the upper extreme, you can draw that. So that's basically what a box and whisker plot looks like. So you'll probably see something like this in your iReady assignment. And so just remember, this is your smallest number is here. Right? This number right here represents the lower quartile. This represents the median, all right, not the mean, but the median. This right here represents the upper quartile. And again, I don't know why I keep writing this P right here instead of the Q. I guess for upper. And then up here is the biggest number. All right? And so hopefully that helps you out there. Just rewriting this right here just in case you're copying along with me. So again, that's median. All right. I know there's a lot going on right here. We're going to do another example, and hopefully that helps you understand that. So this set of numbers represents the low temperature. And so this time I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 numbers this time. So 38 was the low temperature yesterday on Saturday. Today's low is supposed to be 55, and then the next 6 days after. So we have 8 numbers this time instead of 7. So the first thing I want to do is put the numbers in order from least to greatest. So 38 is the lowest number. Next one is 48. After 48, I see 50, 51, 53, 55, 63, 66. So I have these numbers right here, order least to greatest. So the first thing we want to figure out is what is the mean? What is the average if we were to add these numbers up? So let's go ahead and add them up. 38 plus 48 plus 50 plus 51 plus 53 plus 55 plus 63 plus 66. All of that equals 424. So let's write 424 down. We're going to divide that by 8. So remember I told you that we had 8 numbers earlier. So let's just recount that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, we have 8 numbers. So we're going to divide that number by 8, and we get 53 as our answer. Okay, so 53 is the mean. It is the average of all of these temperatures. So let's see if the rest of our data supports that as being the central number, or is it skewed one way or the other. So let's look at our median. What is our median number here? So let's write the word median. So our median number will be the number that's in the middle. So when we look at the numbers, when we put them in order from least to greatest, what number is in the middle of all of this? So with 8 numbers, we're actually going to come out with 2 numbers in the middle. And there they go. These are the 2 numbers in the middle. There isn't one number. Because if we chose 51 as our middle number, we'd have 3 numbers to the left of 51, but 4 numbers to the right of 51. If we had chosen 53 as our middle number, we would have 4 numbers to the left and 3 numbers to the right. So that's not the middle. So we're actually going to have 2 numbers in the middle this time. And so what we would do with the 51 and 53, we're going to find the average of those 2 numbers. So you're going to add 51 and 53 and then divide it by 2. When you add 51 and 53, you get 104. And when you divide 104 by 2, that equals 52. So 52 is going to be our median number, which is pretty close to our mean number of 53. Okay, so since 52 is our middle number, these 2 numbers, let's see, so from 38 all the way up to 51, and 53 all the way up to 66, those are going to represent our lower quartile and upper quartile. All right, so lower quartile, upper quartile. I did a good job that time. And then again, we're going to find the interquartile range. So the lower quartile is the middle number of the lower group. Lower quartile is the middle number of the lower group. So our lower group is 38, 48, 50, 51. The middle numbers, again, we have an even amount of numbers right here. So 48 and 50 will be our middle numbers. Well, what's the median of those two numbers. What's the average of these two numbers? Well, that's going to be 49. So if 48 and 50 are the middle numbers, 49 is in the middle of those two numbers. So 49 is going to be our lower quartile. We will have to do the same thing for our upper quartile because we have 4 numbers up here in our upper quartile. And so that means we're going to have 2 numbers in the middle, 55 and 53. Well, what number is in the middle of 55 and 63? Well, you're going to add those 2 numbers together. 55 plus 63 equals 118. When you divide 118 by 2, the number that's in the middle is 59. So our upper quartile will be 59. Okay. Our interquartile range is the difference between the upper quartile and the lower quartile. So if the upper quartile is 59 and the lower quartile is 49, we're going to subtract those 2 numbers. When we subtract 59 and 49, you get 10. And so our interquartile range is 10. So let's see what all of that looks like when we plot this out in our box and whisker plot. Okay, so I'm gonna get my line drawer. Okay. So again, I would strongly encourage that you don't do this the way that I'm doing this. It's probably easier if you had an actual number line. So if you had a piece of graph paper or something, your answers will probably be a lot more realistic and reliable. But since I don't have any fancy drawing tools, maybe I'll get that in future videos. But right now I'm just gonna do the best I can. 38 is our smallest number. So you always start out with your smallest number here. And whatever your largest number, put that over here. 66 is the biggest. Okay. And so there's our entire range right there, 38 to 66. Now we're just going to plot these points here. So everything I got right here in this box. So you don't have to worry about the mean, just everything, the median, the lower quartile, upper quartile. That's what we want to plot. Actually, let's take out the interquartile range. We don't need the interquartile range in this. So let's, you'll be able to see the interquartile range once we draw it out. So our lower quartile is 49. 49, my best guess would probably be somewhere in this area. I'm just guessing. 59 would probably be somewhere in this area. Our median of 52, best guess, 52 is probably going to be a lot closer to 49 than it is 59. Okay, so when we draw out our plots, it's going to look something like this. So remember, your box will start where your upper and lower quartiles are. Where this 52 line is, we're going to draw a line right there to represent our 52. Over here, we're going to draw whiskers from our lower extreme to the first quartile or lower quartile. We're going to draw a line from our upper quartile to our upper extreme. And that's what our box and whisker plot looks like. So just to label, this is the smallest number. This was our lower quartile. This was the median. This was the upper quartile. And this was the biggest number. Right. And that's all there is to box and whiskers and the central data. The key to it is putting your numbers in order from least to greatest. That's the key to it. Find the median. It's the numbers in the middle. Okay. So again, we had 2 numbers in the middle this time, and that's where the 52 came from. Then our lower quartile is the middle number of the bottom half, lower half. Our upper quartile is the middle number of our upper half. the interquartile range is the difference between our upper quartile and our lower quartile. So there's it's 10 for this one because 59 minus 49 is 10, and that's all you do. So again, hopefully this explains it. Hopefully it didn't confuse you as much. But if you have any other questions for me about this, feel free to contact me through the Remind app. You can email me. We need to do a private Zoom session on this right here, then we can do that too. All right. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will post another video sometime later tonight or tomorrow. Thank you.